Hmm. All right. Yeah. Kimbo, Natanan Zambi, Yamazulu, Betuabu, Benabetus. Yes. How's everybody doing? How's your day, your morning, your afternoon, whatever time zone you're in? How is it going? How is it going? I trust all is well with everyone and everyone's truly operating, hallelujah, in their powers. Everybody's truly operating awoke to who they are and what the powers that they have and what they are capable of doing. I trust that you are disconnecting yourselves from the narratives of this world and of the Babylon system and the systems as we were taught. Yes, I really elated. I'm excited. I'm overjoyed to see um, and to know that the divine creator is so mindful of us. I mean, the it's just unbelievable where we are at, the time that we are in, and what we are encountering in this season, the revelation knowledge, the insight. CME to you all. It's good to have you. I'm just eternally grateful once again. Let me just send a word of intercession. Most High Divine Creator, Tatan and Zambi, Sonini na Nini Kuswa Congo Gai, Isaiah Congo. I'm so humbled by Yamuan and Semi that you counted us that are awoke to the truth worthy to be awoke at such a time as this, to be forerunners with your divine revelation, with your insight of who we are as a people. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight. I ask that I would decrease as you would increase. Let them not hear me, this flesh, but let them hear the spirit, the one that's in me, through me. I empty myself of myself that you would be able to speak through me. Give me divine revelation, downloads, insights, foresights that I will share with your people as you've asked me to come and share with them today. And I thank you so much for trusting me to walk in obedience to every step that you've directed and guided me to. Thank you for being with me in the midst of the wars and the battles and the storms, and with your children, those who are coming out and those who are out and those that are just now trying to find their way. Continue to be the light that they would find their way out. Continue to be their lighthouse. May we that are awoke already be the lighthouse. May we love our brothers and sisters unconditionally. And I thank you once again, Tatan and Zambi, for choosing us, not because anything that we have done, but just your choice. And we thank you. Ingeta, Ingeta, Ingeta. Yes, family. Betuabu, 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 Bena Betu. As I'm elated. I'm excited because why? You know, when the Most High, when the Divine Creator handpicks and selects you for a task or for a job or for an assignment, it never comes easy. It always comes with a battle. Because why? The opposer, the opposer never wants us to just go forward and do things and share things with the Most High, the Divine Creator, with his melanated people, his chosen ones. Because why? The more of our people that are awoke, the that means the more and more of us coming out of their system, you know. The more and more of us coming out of their system, and that is not something that they want. They want our brothers and sisters to continue to walk in that Babylonian system. They want our brothers and sisters to continue to walk in darkness. They want our brothers and sisters to not know that they are kings and queens. They don't want them to know that, because if they know that, hey, we say end game, checkmate. But guess what? They can't stop it. They can't stop it. Whether they agree or disagree, they can't stop it. It is our time to rise to the top. It is our time to rebuild the old waste places. It's our time to rebuild the kingdom. It's our time to move in our kingdom and queendom. Yes, yes, it's our time to rule and reign. Yeah, it's our time. And so there's nothing they can do to stop it. But what is slowing it down? And that's what I came to share with you. What is slowing down our moving forward, our progress, is the fact that we need to unlearn. And it is a hard thing, because some of us being in their system 50 years, 60 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, however amount of years we've been in their system. So the brainwashing that a lot of us have experienced wasn't overnight. Yes, we could say he could do it in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. We could all be changed. We also know that and I quote some of their scriptures that they gave us, some of their script, that we all know that it comes with pulling down all of their systems and their vain imagination and every high thing that is exalting itself in our minds, because these are the things they taught us. These are the things they taught us. So because they did a very good job, they were very calculating, meticulous in what they did to us. They didn't over one night we did this, but they calculated what they did. First, they came, they fight with our ancestors, and they want our ancestors' love and affection, because we are loving people, we are sharing people. That's who we are as chosen ones. We know what it is to love. We love unconditionally. And so, because we were that kind of people, we welcome them in. And with welcoming them in, they sat at our tables or sat on our floors, and they ate with us. They break bread with us. We share some of our secret with them. So we didn't give them everything, but we give them a lot to manipulate and to use against us with their level of sorcery, their low level vibrating sorcery. You understand? And so, because they did that, what they did, the first road in was sitting with our elders, right? But let's go for my generation, and the generation before me. Before me, they did what they did. The radio. So they got your airwaves. They got into our ears. What they was telling us, they was bombarding us with information. So they was making you feel like they hear helicopters and there's a war going on and all this fighting and we in this trouble and all this different stuff. So they get us with our hearing. After they get us with our hearing, they got us with what we read. What we read. So they started dictating and telling us our story through reading. You see? And then when they can get us through the reading, now the next generation, my generation and stuff like that, they start giving us television. They was telling us a vision of the future. They're telling us a vision of who. So they started putting on these television programming. So they gave us a lot of predictable programming. So now the first thing, as you read, if you saw the subtopic, it says we have to unlearning, relearning, and learning. And so these are some of the things that they've done. So now we have the task of, first and foremost, unlearning a lot of things that they taught us that were lies. I told you time and time again on this, and a lot of us know that the English language that we speak is the baby to all the languages in the world, even to the Paleo Hebrew and to the Yiddish and the Aramaic and all that different stuff. The English language is the baby to the languages, right? And so when you look at the English language, it is called, it's a spell binding language. So the English language causes us to pronounce spells over us, causes us to bind ourselves into things like the days of the week. You understand? And all these different things, pray and all this stuff. So there's a lot of words in the English language that is spell binding. So now we have to come to the place where, as we're unlearning how we speak, because for a lot of us, we don't have a quote unquote mother tongue from the continent. All we have is the English language because that's what we were introduced to from birth. We don't have Mandarin and all these other different, no. So we only have the English language. So now we have to unlearn how to speak, how to not cast a spell on ourselves, on our children, on our next generation. You understand? How do we unlearn what we've learned? What they tell us is proper grammar and all this different stuff. You see? And so I believe that with us unlearning the systems that they, what you call it, chained us to. Yes. So if we could get to the place whereas we are unlearning their system, but at the same time using their system. Hey, unlearning their system, but at the same time using their system to defeat them. So for me, instead of saying have a great week, I say have empowering days. You see, there's a difference because if you have empowering days, your days will not be what? Weak. Yes. So it's consciously unlearning their ways and consciously speaking power over ourselves. Like people tell us, your affirmations, I am this, I am the next, I am the. So yes, it's consciously unlearning the way we speak and the way we talk to ourselves, talk to our loved ones, talk to people. You understand? So we must unlearn their system, their way of doing things, their ideology. You understand? We have to now it comes to relearning. And we have to dare again consciously make a conscious decision in relearning our story, our kingdom and queendom, where our ancestors came from, how our ancestors lived, how our ancestors eat, how our ancestors adorn themselves. And I said this before in one of my earlier videos. In Swahili, in Kikuyu, in what's the other? And Kissy, and all these other tribes, there is no word for failure. There isn't. All of their words is all about having what you call it? Having an experience. So if you didn't succeed according to the world standard, you did not fail. You gain an experience. So we have to learn how our ancestors address things and stop seeing it through the eyes of the system that bind us and cause us to speak failure and not good enough and you idiot and you'll never amount. Those words that we speak out of our mouths so easily. I'm so stupid, man. No, you're not stupid. You understand? These are the things we speak over ourselves. We speak over our children. We speak in our nations. We speak in our communities. And instead of seeing solutions, all we see is problems all around us. So our mindset determines, you understand, how we unattach ourselves, detach ourselves from their system, how we unlearn their systems and relearn the ways of our ancestors. You understand me? We say, well, our grandparents. Let me go for my mother's side. My great grandmother had 10 children, 10 living children that she nurtured. She birthed from her womb. No C-sections, roam and grow up and all that different stuff. My grandmother had 7. My mother had 5. On my father's side, now I only know my grandmother had 9. And now today, you know what we say? Oh, why is she having all those children? Why he having? Because that's who we were. We were birthers. But now people only want to have 1 child or 2. I can't afford this because why? Society dictate to you, you must have an absorbent big old house and a fancy car and all. And I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it. But I'm talking about how they conditioned you to not reproduce after your kind, not to be fruitful and to multiply, to see yourself only able to support or take care of 1 child when it even ain't about you. Your womb is the gateway into this world that another being need to come into this world to do an assignment. But you choose to have a hysterectomy, you choose to tie your tubes, you choose to take birth control because you now decide that I'm not going to allow another being, another reproduction of myself to come into this world. Why? And they have an assignment to do. You might be stopping the next king or queen, the next creator. You understand me, from coming into the world, because this is what we do to our body. We have to unlearn the ways of the Babylon system and relearn the ways of our ancestors. We have to change our thinking. We have to get to the place where as we don't see having children as a burden. And yes, I know there are many children in the world that are suffering and all that stuff. I know there are children that are dying and there are children but guess why? They don't know. When people know who they are and their purpose in life, this has come back to relearning. They would see life differently. They would carry themselves differently. And it takes you and I that are awake to help our brothers and sisters that are either in the diaspora or here on the continent to relearn who they are and unlearn the behaviors and the practices that the colonizers imposed on us. Learning. So you say unlearn the systems that they taught us. We have to relearn our stories, our kingdoms, our queendoms that has been here for centuries. But now the learning process, how to operate in our new world, how to operate in our new mindset. We have to learn that this is a consistent, this is an everyday learning process. This is an everyday continuous process. This is not just, I learned this today and that's it. Every morning, new mercies, new day that we get, new 12, I can't even say 24. New 12 hours that we give from sunrise to sunset to do something, to make an impact, to make a change. Um, even I'm here in Kenya, right? And I'm going to tell you this spiritual journey of being in Kenya, even though I've been here almost 2 years, I'm still learning so much new things. I'm still learning the kind of landmark and the spirituality that is here. I'm still learning, try to learn Tanzania, the spiritual landmark of Ethiopia, you know, the spiritual landmark of the Kingdom of Congo is far greater than just one spot named Congo, but it's from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the West Coast to the East Coast. And so it's a learning process. We cannot come to, and I want to speak to some of our brothers and sisters that are planning on coming to the continent. When you come to the continent, you truly have to take time and unlearn that Western mentality and concept of having things your way, the McDonald's, I will have my way, or the there's all these other commercials saying it's my money and I want it now, and all those different things, that kind of mindset that the Western world, the diaspora taught us. And we have to relearn the culture, the ways of living here on the continent. And we have to be willing to learn the ways of our brothers and sisters that are here. Because you can imagine, yes, some of our ancestors was taken away into slavery, but you can imagine being a slave in your own house. And I taught about that before too. Our brothers and sisters on the continent were slaves in their own house. So they've been spoiled. And this is no disrespect to my brothers and sisters on the continent, because I love them just as I love my brothers and sisters in the diaspora. But when we're coming from the diaspora, our brothers and sisters on the continent, even though we have the same color skin as them, they still see us as Mzungus. They still see us as wealthy. They don't know we coming home to survive just like them. So they figure when we coming from the West, when we coming from the diaspora, we're coming home with all this money, all this resources and stuff like that. And so their mindset is what they could take, what they could get. And so I have to say to my brothers and sisters that are on the continent that listen to my channel also, know that a lot of us are coming home by faith. We just trust in the Most High that He said, come home, and we're packing up, or we're shutting down, and we're coming home. Not because we got no exorbitant amount of currency, cash, money, but because we want to come home. And we have to survive just as you have to survive. We have to integrate inside the communities just as you've been living here. So the struggle is not just for you. The struggle, we are here in the struggle with you. So now, what am I saying? We have to learn each other's struggle. So what is somebody else's struggle may not be another person's struggle, but if we learn the mutual grounds and learn each other's struggle, this is how we're going to be able to reestablish and rebuild the kingdom. But we cannot rebuild a kingdom with trickery. The ones from the diaspora trying to come see how they could get rich, and the ones who on the continent trying to see how they could get monies out of the hands of the diaspora. We're still fighting against one another when it comes to that. That's a friction. We got to see how we can work together to rebuild and establish the kingdom. So our learning process is to learn how to operate in this new world and in our new kingdom together. in a new system together, how to pull down the old system completely and totally and work together, how to pull down the old mindset of everybody that's coming from the diaspora, coming with a wealth, and and those from the diaspora. If we come home, we just want to get wealthy. We know we got the gold and the silver and the diamond and coltan and and all these different things in the continent. But it was all about just living, having all things common. Some people have goats, some people have sheep, some people have what you call this thing, cows, some people are farmers of fruits and vegetables. How do we batter that we can just exist? Because when you think about it, a lot of us just work to meet our day-to-day needs. I learned here in Kenya that some people only make 500 shillings a day. A day. 500 shillings a day. You can imagine a family of 4 or 5 and only 500 shillings a day coming home. When you do the calculations, those of you who do the calculations, 500 shillings is less than $5 a day. And some of us can't even, our lunch in the diaspora is almost 10, $15 a day. And I'm not saying that, so you understand. So what I'm saying, we got to learn each other's struggle. And that's the way we're going to be able to operate, cohabitate together. That's the way we're going to be able to rebuild and restructure mindsets, especially. That's the first thing. Because if you don't unlearn the old ways of operating and doing things, it's going to be hard to learn a new way because you're so full of the old ways of doing things. You're so full of the old ways of being a trickster. The old ways of trying to get and walk around with your fists, your hands closed, and not learn how to share, exchange. I may have some knowledge about cars, and you may have some knowledge about air conditioning or what you call electronics or whatever have you. We have to learn how to live together, occupy this land together. We have to learn how to work together. That's the only way forward, family. It's the only way forward. And so that's what the Most High wants us to know. He wants us to get to the place of unlearning the systems of this world that our colonizers taught us. He wants us to relearn and reestablish ourselves in his laws, statutes, and commandments and how we occupy and work together. He wants us to learn each other's strengths and weaknesses, how we can help one another, how can we build. And the other thing that he shared with me is this. And I think I shared it last week or something like that, the battle between the kingdoms, But something else he had revealed to me was that we live in worlds, and I think I shared this with one of my queen sisters. We live in worlds, realms, and dimensions. Yeah. We live in worlds, realms, and dimensions. And some of us have the ability. Okay. I know somebody gonna ask a question. Let me see. We live in worlds, realms, and dimensions. Okay. According to the scriptures that they gave us, right? The scripture that they gave us say that the Most High, the divine creator, foreknew us before we were conceived in our mother's womb. So that's a whole different dimension we were in. Right? Because if he knew us before we was conceived in our mother's womb, that means we were there with him, seated in heavenly places. sitting in that realm or that dimension. Okay, let me say that dimension. Let me explain like that. We were in that dimension with the divine creator. Then we were conceived in our mother's womb. That's a realm because we lived and we stayed inside there. Some of us 9 months, some of us 6 months, 7 months, however long we were incubated in that realm of our mother's womb to grow into this house that we needed, this astronaut suit that we needed for our spirit to come in now to this world. You see it? You see what's happening now? Are you catching what I'm saying to you? We came from a dimension into a realm and then into this world. Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. Thank you, Divine Creator. So they tell us absent from this body is what? Presence with him, right? And we go back to that dimension all over again. So we go from dimension to realm to world. So we need to truly occupy this world together. Now, mind you, as I say, in this world, we are parallel or operating in this world with other, they say the sons of Cain, the what you call it, the serpent spirit, all those different things we know that is out there and stuff like that. The shifters and stuff like that, the lizard people, the reptilian people, and all them different stuff. They say they're here with us and stuff like that. And that's fine. But we have to know who we are. How do we work together? How do we learn each other? How do we learn who is us and who isn't us? Another thing that I learned that, and a lot of us know that there's a whole lot of intermarrying and there was a whole lot of, um, what you call it, species um, invading our DNA. Yeah, they knew who we were, and so what they did, they intermarry. They 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 they, they contaminate a lot of our bloodlines. You understand? So now we have to now learn how to operate together and figure out who we are among ourselves. Because remember, according to the story they give us in Exodus with Moses, they said it was 6 million, right? Men. That include the women and children. But along with them, it also said a mixed multitude came out with them. A mixing. And so, family, I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening in to this broadcast, this, I don't know what you call it, that the Most High give, that message that the Most High has given me to give to you today. But we must unlearn the system that they've so deeply embedded in us from we went to preschool to primary school, what you call it, junior high school, senior high school, college, university, undergrads, whatever. All of that system was all a part of programming us. Yeah. So we got to unlearn a lot of things. And also, we could use what they taught us against them. You use what they taught us against them. Then we have to relearn who we truly are as a people. We have to truly not be afraid. Um, I think I shared in one of my videos some of the things that I started experiencing since I've been here in Kenya. Um, the hearing of spirits and stuff like that. Being able to see what people call the aura on other people, the light on other people and stuff like that. Learning landmarks that are here on the continent. So there's a whole lot of stuff that spiritually that I was I was taught was a no-no. Now I realize being here on the continent that it is truly a part of who we are. We have these spiritual powers like the Black Panthers and like the Captain Marvels and like the Incredible Hulks, and you understand me? We embody these powers, but we were taught it was evil. When our colonizers heard about it, they use it for their advantage, but they demonize it for us. So that's another thing we have to relearn. We have to relearn who we are, the kind of powers that we have, the kind of abilities that we have, the ability to telepath, the ability to, you know, to bend time and space. Yeah, yeah. The ability to walk in and out of portals. Yeah. See, these are the things that they don't want you to learn or know because they call it demonic or evil. But it is a natural part of who we are. And then the learning process. The learning process. You have to be open and willing to learn. That's the other thing. You cannot close your mind because something we normally say we can eat the bone, eat the meat and spit out the bone. Yeah, we can do that. We should be able to eat the meat and spit out the bone, know what is ours and what has been contaminated by the system and get rid of it. That is why we have to unlearn, relearn, and learn because so many things that they told us that was evil was a natural part of us. And so many things that they tell us is good was not a part of us. And so our learning journey must come with an open mind to truly hear from the divine creator as he start bringing back to you your memories of who you were, what you came into this earth realm to do, what you came to accomplish, your purpose. You understand? People say your purpose in life. And all of that is in your DNA or what they call the Akashe records that is inside your DNA. They call it DNA, but it's the Akashe records, your history. That's why they could, when you do a quote unquote a blood test or DNA thing, they could tell you all the way back to 100 years of who your family was, who you've been related to, your bloodline, your lineage. That's your Akashe record. You are your ancestors. Yeah, unfortunately, they tell us all kind of stuff. But you are your ancestor because they could trace your great, 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 great grandmother, grandfather in your DNA, in my DNA. So now, how do you find that even in our communities, in our Black communities, we say, boy, this must be um, grandma come back in this person, or this must be uncle so and so come back, or auntie so and so come back in this person. Because why? We see the character traits, so we see the similarities, we see the things that they're doing that that person did when they were alive. These are the things now we have to relearn who we truly are, and our lineage and the ability that we have to tap in ourselves, because the kingdom is what? Within. Tap within ourselves to manifest that which we need to come to pass. There's so much other things that I can share in terms of what causes manifestation to happen and stuff like that. What causes certain things to happen inside what they call quote unquote the church and stuff like that. It's all our power, our trend of thought. That's why when pastors say, everybody point your hands, because they're using every collective powers of all of us to help that person come back to life, or to be healed, or to be delivered, or whatever. You understand? It's a collective effort. And that's what it comes back to us learning who we are, that we can live together. We can function and reestablish and rebuild the kingdom. Yeah. So I thank each and every one of you. I thank the Most High, the Divine Creator, for allowing us to be able to unlearn this beast system, to relearn the system of the kingdom, and to learn how to dwell together, how to use our collective powers and individual powers to do great exploits and do great work. Kimbo, Kimbo, Natanin Zambi, Yamazulu. Kimbo, Kimbo, Natanin Zambi, Yamazulu. Kimbo, Kimbo, Natanin Zambi, Yamazulu. Let me tell you something. This is the promised land. And we give thanks and praise to the Most High, to the Divine Creator. Asante Sana, Karibu Sana, Matando Masaka, Zolo Kwingi, Nakupenda Sana, family. Enjoy the rest of your day, your empowering days and months. Yes, also know that we as in the Southern Hemisphere, we are now going into our spring. We're now going into our Bantu New Year.